self-centered people, very narrow-minded, who don't appreciate us at all. But yet we still have to kind of carry this burden of being positive role models and trying to protect people's rights, if not their lives, even if they don't appreciate them and are willing to side with the nearest available terrorist group. And it kind of makes you think about your own political views and to what extent you're willing to overlook evil for the sake of a little bit of additional security. And what rights are you willing to give up? And there's also some religious commentary. There's not many sacred cows in this game, that's for sure. And here we are with these dialogue skills. And, would it be too academic of me to call these rhetorical skills? That's really what they are, right? You can try to intimidate somebody or suck up to them or try to intimidate them with your intelligence, I suppose. Smart ass. But it really is. I really enjoyed reading all the text. I know it's quite overwhelming at times. It feels it kind of takes you out of the game a bit to sit there and read a bunch of text, but none of it is poorly written. If you just take the time to read it, I think you'll find a lot to appreciate there. So here's a little trick. So this Mississippi Mule sawed-off shotgun I got, really cool weapon, but it's only got one shot, and you have to reload, and that can eat up some of your action points. But you can actually equip two weapons, two different shotguns, and then just swap between them. So I don't want to do that. So you can just swap and then use your other shotgun, save a few action points. So you'll pick up lots of little tricks like that along the way. So I'm just moving on into the Wasteland. The rest of that is just exploring the Citadel area. You can recruit one of the characters from the first game, Angel Death. She's very powerful, but she'll only stick with your group for a while. So I learned that the hard way. First playthrough. Got real dependent on her, then she splits. But I loved you, Angel! Yeah, so you might not want to have her in the party. It's just kind of up to you. I wonder if I actually don't know, but maybe you get more experience points if you don't have her. Alright, so this is the world map. And, I was really surprised when I recorded this footage. If you notice at the bottom middle of the screen there's like a speed toggle and a view map and a pause. That must have been just added in the last patch, because it was not there when I played it through. So it's pretty cool. It's good evidence that they are staying on top of people's concerns. They're patching this. I did read some reports about people having bugs with some of the quests. Apparently, they couldn't complete some of the quests and so on. Your mileage may vary. I personally didn't have any problems like that. I was able to get through the whole game. The only weird thing, there was a kind of a strange glitch every now and then where I would lose control of the map. Like I couldn't move the screen around. I had to, but it didn't freeze the game. All I had to do was save it and then reload it, and then it would work fine. Now who knows what that is? It could be something on my end, but it did happen on more than one occasion. But fortunately, it was not a game stopper and didn't crash, so very happy about that. So here's a good example of the kind of storytelling you can expect in the game. There's lots of things you can observe, and if you pay attention and put the pieces together, they don't always spell out everything for you. So it pays to be observant. Spend some time thinking about it. Don't just click your way through. Put some thought into it, and you'll find there's lots of really cool stuff that most people probably would just miss. So just, take your time with this. So over here we notice there's a bronze star with the words Desert Ranger on it. So that obviously belonged to our deceased ranger, the guy that they were putting into the ground there at the beginning. And gradually this story will start to come together. We'll learn about this, much larger movements going on. And there's a pretty big story arc. I think they got a succession of story arcs here. And they're all, to me at least, interesting. So here's a good example of these dialogue options paying off. So I got 2 points in hard ass, so I can Try to intimidate the guy. You're insane. What the hell is wrong with you? So apparently I freaked him out pretty good, so they're not going to mess with me, and I can just go about my business here without having to fight all these guys. I would have actually kind of liked to fight them, but you know, I can still fight them anytime I want, but now I can do that on my terms. So just one of the examples of what you can do with your dialogue options.
Well, let me tell you Matthias's law, friends. Matthias's law is vengeance. And soon, Matthias's law will stretch all the way to Arizona and kill those so-called upholders of justice, the Desert Rangers.
That's another cool aspect of the game. Occasionally you'll pick up these radio transmissions, and a lot of times you'll be hearing from these groups, and you won't meet them till much later in the game, but thanks to those radio transmissions, you'll already have a pretty good idea of the type of people they are, and it'll arouse your curiosity, and you keep thinking about what it's going to be like when you finally do meet them. So lots of ways to build up the tension there, and fairly economically. You know, I think these guys have done a pretty good job of, you know, they're not wasting money on stupid assets. Like, it probably didn't cost that much to record that audio, but it's a nice touch. It really adds a lot of interest to the game. A little cave I can go into here. So what am I, almost 20 minutes into the game, I've yet to fight anybody. Yeah, there's a toaster. You know, I'm not sure. I'm probably missing some huge, you know, inside joke about the toasters. I don't know. But there are all these toasters around. If you repair them, you'll get some special items. You know, I did it the first time I had that skill, but I never did really get anything all that awesome from a toaster. And it's such a specialized skill that I decided this time I wouldn't mess with it. You see, it's going to take at least 2 points to even get it started. Every now and then you'll find a statue like the statue of the cat, and it'll give all your characters a free skill point. But sometimes it's better just to save the point. You know, I could start a new skill if I wanted to, but that's not going to be all that useful. It's probably better just to save it. Try to level up something that I will need. And the higher up you level up a skill, of course, the more skill points it'll take to take it to the next level. So no harm in just saving it. So here I believe is we'll finally get into some combat here. There's all kinds of different critters and robots. Of course, human opponents to fight. I believe this first battle is with a... Yeah, there he is. Sort of a toad, frog-like thing. Might as well go over here and get these first aid kits. Okay, so when you want to initiate combat, you can just get next to the monster until it notices you. Or you can just get the first shot in like I did there. In some situations, you can actually split up your party and get them all behind cover, then initiate combat. So yeah, that's pretty cool when that happens. Sometimes though, you just kind of you're forced to walk into an ambush. That always sucks. So you notice with these different kinds of weapons, there's a bar above them with the green. That green bar above the weapon shows you the ideal range of the weapon. The red dots indicate the enemies within range, or how many enemies are within the ideal range. If it's green, you're good. Now some of the weapons though, they really suck if you're up close. Yeah, here's a shotgun. So the shotgun has a cone, which is awesome because you can target multiple enemies. The only downside is you can very easily hit your own people. So that's going to be really tricky. This frog went down without too much trouble. Get some junk here. It's also a pretty nice inventory system. It's got an auto sort function. You can just sell all the junk you pick up when you get to a dealer. So the inventory is not a big deal. Of course, you do have a limited carrying capacity. That can be a bit of a problem later in the game when you have to keep going back and forth to pick up more loot, sell it, go back, more loot, sell it. Of course, your stronger guys can carry more. Yeah, those repeater units that I need. And we start to get the first inkling of the bigger story going on here. These synths and the mechanical men. Cyborgs, if you will. And I'm not going to spoil any of the story for you, but you know, it's introduced gradually and you get more and more pieces to it as you go along. There's a little bit later in the game, probably about an hour later, maybe an hour and a half. And basically you got a choice of saving the people at High Pole or this other place called Ag Center. So that's another way to encourage replay value, I suppose. You can't do both. So first time I did the High Pole, this time I thought I would see what the Ag Center was all about. As you can see too, I've actually lost one of my characters I created. He actually died in friendly fire. So he died before I could even, use my surgeon skills on him. So that is a possibility. And I guess you could try to complete the game with just 3 of your own characters and recruit some additional NPCs, but realistically though, I probably would have just reloaded, but what the heck. He probably deserved it. So you can see I'm not really in a very ideal situation here. None of my guys are under cover. They're just all out in the open. And some of these weapons are not at the right range. Now maybe somebody can explain to me how it could be easier to miss at point blank range than it is when you're several hundred feet away. Now, I guess we'll just have to chalk that one up to the mysteries of the game balance wizards. Anyway, it is annoying. You have to miss out on your action points to get enough distance where you can actually hit somebody. Now, one nice thing though is that it really has a good cover system. So once you get behind cover, you'll automatically duck down and get the evasion bonus. Of course, later on, the humans you fight will do the same thing, and it can waste quite a bit of ammo trying to shoot them. Also, if you get crowded with enemies, I guess it makes your characters nervous or something, and they'll start to fumble more. Just use a little healing item on myself. But it's pretty intense combat, even at this early stage. It's very few combats in this game that will just be routine, grinding sorts of affairs. Most of the time you will have to pay attention and you will be watching those dice rolls with no small degree of anticipation. We splatted all the bugs and now we get to level up. Always an exciting time. All you have to do is call in and get our field promotion. Always an exciting time. We'll get some additional skill points that we can use or save. Don't forget you can save your points too if you would prefer to wait until you get enough to raise one of your major skills. Alright, so let's skip ahead a bit. I'll show you some of the antics my other party got into in Wasteland 2. So just like in the Fallout games, sometimes you will just randomly encounter weird situations like these are Wastelanders having a barbecue. Now obviously I got to check that out. Big fan of barbecue. So these are just random encounters. You never know when you might have these and what it might entail. Yeah, I've had days like that guy there over the spit. How about you? Kidnapped by Wastelander punks. Now I picked up this guy. This is an NPC, Lexcanium. And like his name suggests, he's got quite the lexicon. Lots of fun dialogue. He also packs a mean punch. Don't underestimate the power of brawling in this game. This guy's fist weapons